What's up, everybody? I want to welcome you guys back to A Vibe Called West Radio. This is episode 5. I'm really happy that the new year started off just by meeting so many incredible artists and just having such a free-flowing narrative and just conversations. It's pretty amazing. So the 5th one is one that I'm really excited about. I want to give a big shout out to Tony Shane. He's an incredible artist that was just day one on board with this message and this great thing that we're doing here. So I'm excited for you guys to really get to know his story and get to know him as a person. So what's up, man? Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. How's the new year been treating you?
Phenomenal, man. I actually said it in my verse, like, this is a cool way to start it off.
100%.
I've been trying to get, like, more out there and do different things. Most of the stuff I've done so far has just been, like, literally in my room. And it's been cool to kind of, like, work on getting my performance up and, like, get more comfortable in front of cameras and whatnot, because I'm usually behind them, not in front of it. So, like, it's been dope. And then coming up here was just cool because I'm trying to, like, expand who I know and stuff like that. So it's been a cool, like, networking thing.
Definitely, man. There's a lot to, even in that little thing, I kind of want to unpack. The first thing is, the new age of the internet. I think that, before we were even talking on camera, there's so many people that you've met just through these different Instagram pages. So why don't you, like, kind of tell some of the alumni of this program, like, who have you kind of, like, known and met in that?
I met Sunday and I met Mars in person. The first time I met them was at a show Sunday did, and Mars performed too. So I got to see them kind of do their thing in person. I haven't performed on a stage in, like, over a decade probably. So, like, it was cool to just be in that presence and, like, see that again. I also know Euphonic too, just from, like, this app called Bars app, and then also Barkeepers, which is, like, an Instagram kind of competition that Sunday runs. So, like, we're familiar as well. So yeah, it was cool, like, meeting them, because I had known them for a while, like, on the internet only. And then when I met Mars and Sunday in person, it was, like, kind of crazy, because you almost feel like you're meeting a celebrity because you just know them from the internet and then you see them in real life. So, like, I think the whole, like, online community thing has been a big shifter, just even since COVID. Like, so I've met a lot of people on the internet just in different aspects of my life, even including thrifting, like, through that too. So, like, yeah, man, the internet's tight.
Definitely. I mean, like, yeah, big shout out to Mars and High Sunday. They're incredible performers. And it's so funny that you said that. I remember, like, I was seeing a meme on the internet that's like, when my group of friends meet someone that we've been following on Instagram for 5 years and we have, like, an entire story in our head. Yeah. Like, they're like a celebrity to us. So it's like funny that you said that. It's so true. I want to go back to what you were saying, though, in the beginning, because I want you to tell your story. So you were saying that usually you're behind cameras.
Yeah.
What does that mean specifically?
So I do video, like, production for a living. Me and a friend of mine have, like, a digital marketing company, and we do like, video's part of it. So I kind of run the video side of it. So I don't really shoot as much anymore, but, like, I have a team of people that I, like, lead to get stuff done at this point. And yeah, I went to school for that. I got a degree in that, and I've been doing it since 2009 for like a living. So that's awesome. I started off in music, actually. I used to work for, like, a blog in 2009 to 2011 when that was, like, the hot shit.
Dude, it was the best. It was such a good era. Yeah.
I was in Chicago doing that, and I got to meet a lot of people. I got to be on stages a lot, be backstage a lot, and just kind of get familiar with that culture, being in studios a lot. Like, I did it, but, like, I didn't take it that seriously at the time, but I was around it. And, like, it was cool because it was when certain artists that are big now were, like, starting. So I was filming, like, Action Bronson, Sci-Hi, J. Cole, Kendrick, like, Currency, like, all these kind of people.
Sick.
But, like, when they were, this is 2009. So it was like they weren't that who they are now yet. But yeah, it was, like, it was dope. So I think now that was cool, but, like, you didn't make a lot of money doing that. So it was like, I came out here because I'm from Chicago originally, and I came out here and we got more into, like, commercial work, and it just kind of grew that way.
Awesome. Yeah. Speaking of Chicago, so what part of Chicago did you grow up in?
Kind of all over. I was originally from the South Side, and then we moved to the suburbs, like one suburb when I was like 10, and then moved to a different one when I was in high school, and then I went to college at Columbia downtown, and like that was where I met like my business partner now.
And then, so would you say that growing up in Chicago, because, you know, Chicago has an incredible energy, and, you know, a lot of the MCs, you know, in the past and almost even recently, you know, like Mick Jenkins, Saba, you know, Joey Purp, and like a lot of those I'm actually really big fans of. Would you say that the energy and the creative kind of just touch that Chicago has, is it affected and like influenced the way that you move, or like any of your styles, would you say?
I think so, to an extent. I was always more like, I wasn't really on the ground so much when I was like coming up with what I wanted to sound like. I'm, you know, a little older, so grew up listening to like late 90s people. So a lot of my influences were like, you know, Redman, like Nas, Eminem, like Busta Rhymes, like these Method Man,
Fire,
like these guys. But it was funny because when I started working in that industry, that was like Chance and like Vic Mensa were like 15, 17, like at the time. So like I was older than them. So it was like these guys that are like big now, like were literally kids at that time. So it was like I had a different influence, but I would say like I definitely think the attitude that I have is probably more similar to like old Kanye, like not current spun the fuck out Kanye, but like.
But we love old Kanye.
Yeah, like how he was
Kanye.
then, I think would kind of describe the environment that I came up in, where we were very like, we had something to prove, you know. So I think that's kind of what I've held on to.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, that Genius documentary that, you know, have you watched the Genius documentary?
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Like I knew a lot of those people. Like I worked with a lot of those people that were in there, you know, like
Cootie?
later on. I never met Cootie, but like Ron Fest, I know. Like I've worked with him a lot. GLC, I know. Like I worked with him a lot. Like
Consequence.
I never met Consequence, but like I know who those guys are. Like I was around those people at the time, so it was like during that documentary, that was like right before, because it was like probably 4 years before like I got into it was when that documentary was taking place. So it's crazy. I was like, I just missed it. You know what I mean? But I came right after that, so it was like, it was cool.
Definitely. I feel like that, like, just also seeing people around you accomplish incredible things, it's like it's encouraging, and it's definitely like, you know, contagious, I would say, like in the area. Did everyone know? And I try to like, it's not like a great question to say, but like, you know, the people going up, like, did everyone see that Kanye was like kind of like a different type of person with his attitude and the way that he approached music, like in your opinion, or like?
I think the people that were around him did, but everybody was kind of like that. And I used to defend Kanye a lot because I was like, that mentality of just like, fuck you, I'm dope. like that was Chicago shit. Like we were all like that, where it was just like, fuck you, I'm dope. Like I don't care what you think, and like I'll whoop your ass if you fucking say some shit about it. And that it was like that. And it was also like a lot of hater shit where like, because people were like that, everybody else would be like, he ain't shit. So it was like really hard. It was hard to get on in Chicago because people were like that. And then because people were like that, people who did get on had that fucking attitude, because they were just like, y'all hated on me, but like I did it, so fuck you. So yeah, I would go to other places. Like I went to New York, and everybody was like, it was an open mic thing, and all the artists that were performing would like be in the crowd for the other people and like cheer everybody on and shit, and like all so supportive and stuff. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like people are so nice. Yeah. And then when I moved out here, it was the same thing. Like people were being nice to me, and I always thought that they were trying to like get something from me. And they were like, what's wrong with that guy? Like, why does he have such an attitude? And I was like, cause I just didn't trust people being nice to me, cause I'm from where I'm from. So it was like, I think that aspect is probably the thing that started Kanye's like fuck you attitude, because it was like people
that makes sense. It's like, you know, a lot of it's like crabs in the bucket, you know. It's like, you know, I feel like it's like when you think of everything like a scarcity mindset instead of like abundance. Yeah, like I'm always trying to tell myself that, like, you know, I think it's hard for every single artist when you think about, you see other people on social media and you compare, but you know, I've always tried to like rewire myself and be like, it's abundance, like there's enough for everyone. Don't be jealous of the engagement or the content. You know, I think it's great that you said that, and I'm happy that you've had that reaction with New York and LA. Yeah. And then I want to get to you moving, you know, out here, but I want to talk about the blog era a little bit. Yeah. Because I like that, to me, is like, you know, I was in high school when, you know, Friday Night Lights dropped, the warm up dropped, you know, Overly Dedicated. all these 1999 acid rap. So like, what was your experience like working at those blogs? I'm actually fascinated with that.
It was crazy because at that time it wasn't, like Instagram had just came out. It didn't have video on it. Like, I don't even remember. I don't think Facebook had video either. And a lot of people were still like, when I would interview these artists. Like I interviewed like Mac Miller. And at the end of the interview, they're like, find me on MySpace. It's MySpace / So like people were still like promoting that stuff like at the time. So social media being what it is now, like was nothing like that. And to me, like living through it to now, it doesn't seem like that far away, but like seeing how far things have come, it's wild. Mm-hmm. And even the equipment, stuff like that, like DSLR cameras had just came out. Like the Canon 7D just came out. It didn't have autofocus on it. It only shot video for like 12 minutes at a time. Like it would freeze a lot. Like it was just shitty, but like everybody thought it was so dope because it had like the bokeh on it and you could like change the focus and shit like that. But people were still shooting on like, old handy cams and stuff. And like the iPhone just came out when I was working over there. So like when I would go to shows to shoot, it was just me. Like I had a camera with a big ass light on it. There was no like cell phones in the air. Like it was just me. I was the only person filming it. So I think that was like a really special time. And it was kind of like the end of a certain era where like the blogs were kind of like gatekeepers in a way to decide like who was dope or not. Like you couldn't just put shit out and like somebody had to approve you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so the internet kind of had like those people that played a role in like deciding who was actually good or not.
Like, yeah. And
it was like a proving ground too, because you might know somebody at that blog, give them your shit and they'll post it, but like the comment section is gonna fucking tear you apart. 100%. So it was like, and you won't get posted again. So it was definitely fascinating, and it was cool to see like the people that did take off out of it, like Mac Miller, Currency, like even J. Cole. Like we interviewed him too. I interviewed him a couple of times, and like seeing people that you were like, this motherfucker's a rock star, like just off jump. Like when we interviewed Mac, I interviewed him twice, like 1 year and then the following year, like around the same time. The first time he was performing at a place, I didn't even know who he was. And he was performing at a place, it was like a smaller place. And I'm just like, who's this fucking white boy? Like, why are these, whatever. And we went to the show and I'm on stage. He comes out, the place was sold out. And he came out and he was with his mom. He's like, yo, I came here with my mom. This is so cool. Cause he was like 17.
Yeah.
Fucking shut that shit down. And then the following year he was at the House of Blues. And he remembered us from the year before, like interviewing him. And he was like, oh, yeah, I had my blue puffy coat on. And I was like, yo, man. And when we walked into the House of Blues, all these kids were coming down the stairs because we got there at the end of the show. They were all coming down the stairs dressed like him, like wearing his clothes, like dressed like that.
Yeah, with the beanie and shit. Yeah,
like
that's
all
amazing.
That. And I was just like, damn, it's crazy to see like these kids like shift the culture in a way like that and using the internet to do it. And then I think as the apps kind of got more robust, that blog thing became like less relevant, and so it kind of like faded away. But
it's so that was an incredible story. And I'm, by the way, just candidly, I'm such a big Mac Miller fan. I have the Circles vinyl up there. I have the Kids one. R.I.P. Mac, and that's amazing that you even had a conversation. I'm very jealous, but mostly I'm happy for you. But it's really cool actually. So I was reading Logic's book. Logic also really blew up in that blog era massively, and in his book he described it. He was saying that the blog, social media cannibalized the blog era, kind of like what you were saying. There was no longer the gatekeepers, and also like these companies could like throttle people's accounts, push it up. And back then it was so dope that like these communities of just people that loved music were like helping me, because I was a kid going on This Song Is Sick, and I remember seeing Donald Trump. Like I see like the web page in my head, like the Donald Trump one, and they were like, yo, listen to this song, it's fire. And I was like 12.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is fucking so sick. You know what I mean? Like and it's so sad that, because, I'm a musician. We always try and figure out like what's the current state, like how can we find the right gatekeepers and stuff. We thought maybe it was like TikTok influencers, maybe it was Instagram accounts, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Because the people that are associated with the account, like I feel like the people that were with those blogs like loved and lived and breathed music, and a lot of those people are like payola, where like they'll post anything, so then the validity of the account kind of goes down.
And it did get to the point where it became more about like how many clicks you could get. So like people started to take like the World Star approach, because the World Star was World Star at the time.
Oh my God, it was amazing. Yeah.
And like, I don't want to say names, but like the site that we kind of was like our competitor, sort of, like they were like that. We're like, they just posted whatever, and they fucking blew up way bigger than us, because like we were super about the shit, like about the culture, blah, blah. So ours was more like curated, but like we couldn't even come close to the amount of clicks, because these fools just posted it, whatever. And because they did that, whoever they were posting like pushed them in their links, so like they just got way bigger than us. And like now that site's like a household name kind of thing, so I can't really be mad at it. And then the culture, I feel like in general, kind of shifted that way. So then you started to get like clout rappers that were just like
Lil Pump
doing stupid ass shit and got on because they were just like, who's the most ridiculous?
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't rap, but like you're entertaining because you look so fucking ridiculous and do such ridiculous shit. You know?
It's literally, I feel like it's the battle between, are you an artist or are you an entertainer? And a lot of those people, like, you know, and like, by the way, like, shout out, you know, Lil Pump and all those people, like they did their bag and they killed it. So you know what I mean? Like and I respect success, and like whatever, they knew the game and they played it. Yeah. It says a lot about like the fans. And the fans, I think at that time, are like, everyone's so into like instant gratification that they just want to see the next headline. And you know, it's interesting for us to, like, you know, as artists, navigate what's going on. Like, how do you find your music right now, would you say? Like new
how
artists.
do I find it?
Like new artists.
Man, honestly, I don't like, a lot of the people I listen to like lately are just people that I literally know. But I got to a point, I think, and I hate saying this, man, but like from working in that industry like that, I got really like burnt out on music. And I found myself just like listening to podcasts. Like I didn't even listen to music like that. And then when I wanted to, like during COVID, I started like making it again because I was fucking bored. And like I just was like finding beats on the internet, and I was just like, I'm gonna rap on this. And I started like making my own videos. And to go back to your point about like the entertainer versus artist thing, like I think it's important to ride that line. Like you should try to do both. Totally. And I think sometimes even in Barkeepers, like there's people that came at me because they're like, he's doing all these characters and like he makes his videos so extra, blah blah. And like, and Sunday would defend me all the time and be like, but he has bars though. And so it's like, and I'm like, why am I wrong for like trying to be entertaining? And you think the shit is mutually exclusive. Like I can't have bars and be entertaining. So it's like, yeah, I fucking dress extra. So what? Like I'm more fun to look at, bitch. You know? So
exactly. I love that. Yeah.
I think the whole conversation got really interesting when the art form kind of started to change into that like mumble rapper, swag rapper thing, because people wanted to hate on it. But I feel the same way as far as like there's room for everybody. And I think there's certain artists that like nowadays, and it says a lot about people, because I'm like, people are always distracted. They're always like looking at their phone and shit. And I'm like, there's certain artists that I'm like, how is this guy famous? But if his music's playing in the background, I'm like, damn, this shit's a bop. Exactly. And so it's like, if I'm the type of person, like I'm staring at my phone all the time and I just want music on in the background and I'm not really listening to it, like this shit is hard. So it's like, there's a place for that. But because not everybody wants to have their fucking mind blown like lyrically all the fucking time. Like, and people talk shit about J. Cole, like he's so boring, but it's like, that boy is lyrical as fuck and he's a fucking genius, but like you might not want to have to sit and listen to it all the time. So now you're bored or whatever. So it's like, there's shit for everybody. And so I'm like, I'm at a point where like I'm just doing what I fucking want to do. I listen to my shit. Like I make what I want to hear, because I'm like, I'm either listening to old shit from fucking my era, or like there's new people I like, but like I hate saying that shit, but I don't listen to music like that.
Yeah. I think honestly, you know, it's so funny. I think like it honestly goes back to our first point. Like the people that are like, I don't like that type of music, or you're being too extra, like that's not abundance, that's scarcity. Like, oh, it should only be this way. Yeah. And I like that your mindset's like, no, it's like, man, like there's room for everything. Yeah. And I think that like, and I'm the complete same way, and like I'm always trying to be open to like new musicians. And then speaking of kind of like the diversity of the different artists, so like when you were interviewing those artists, and I want to get to exactly what you're doing right now because I don't want to focus so much on the past, but when you were like, I feel like back in the day with the blogs, like there was a lot of like different types of artists. You know what I mean? Like the gatekeepers weren't just like, no, we're only having J. Cole's. Like, no, we're having some Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah.
We're having, Big Sean. We're having Meek Mill. Like those different types. Like, what were some of like the favorite people that you were able to interact with artist wise? And you say back then, I know you probably said some of them, but
I mean, Mac Miller was like one of the nicest guys in the world. I really liked him a lot. We interviewed Big Boy from Outkast one time.
Oh, that's
and
sick.
He was the shit. Like he was doing a show it was like a sponsored by Tesla or something like that, and it was in a hotel or something. And we met him in this like library that they had, and he just came in there. They had like all this shrimp and like food, and he was just like, "What's up, y'all trying to eat?" And we were like, "Okay." So we like ate some of it, and he just like jumped in this chair, like plopped down. He's like, "What do y'all want to talk about?" And I was like, "Damn!" Like as big as Big Boy is, like. He was just chilling. Like you could tell he was like, I know who I am. Like I'm a fucking legend. And like I'm not stressed out about talking to you, and I love that about him. I think who else?
Shout out Big Boy, he is a legend. I love
that was cool. And I'm trying to think. Action Bronson. We did a studio session with him, and then afterwards we took him to eat like deep dish pizza because he had never been in Chicago, and it was cold as fuck. And this fool had on shorts and a hoodie, and we were like, "Bro,
he's big though."
Chicago winter. He was like, "I don't fuck with pants," and we were like, "What?" He's like, "I don't fuck with pants." He was like, "I don't wear pants." And so they took him to this like place called I think Blackbird. It was like a really because he was a chef before, so they took him to this like fancy ass like restaurant. And he walked up in there with like same shit, like shorts and a hoodie on. And they had a dress code in there, but they knew who he was. So the chef came out and was like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you're here, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Here's the special table we got for you." And that was dope to me where it was like, just be who you are. And like, if you demand respect, like you'll get it. So those were like, just off the top that I didn't think of. I could go all day about that.
I mean, those are great though. And like also, so it's so funny, actually off camera we were talking about, so this is like a vintage sweater that I got in Denver when I was with my girlfriend. She lives out there. So you were saying that you thrift and you kind of like the vintage side. Like, you have a really dope kind of aesthetic with your style. So like, tell us a little bit about that. Like, where's it come from?
I just like, I like unique things. I like different stuff. So it's like this shirt is from this brand called Rucking Fun, where this guy does like these one-off runs, and they're usually like movie-themed shirts.
Is that Death Proof?
Yeah, it's Death Proof.
Dude, yeah, shout out Tarantino. I love
I'm a huge Tarantino
Hell
fan.
yeah,
So,
same, yeah.
This jacket I got from a thrift store. It's a members only jacket. But I like nice shit too. Like I love sunglasses, so like I got these sunglasses recently. And I like mixing stuff together, and it's just whatever I feel like. But I also know like if I'm gonna be on camera or if I'm like performing, like I want to look a certain way and kind of like tell a story with what I have on. But even when I was in high school, I used to wear my dad's like old shit, and people would roast me for it because they were just like, "What the fuck is that?" Or like, he used to have like those kind of tight T-shirts, like those Heather tight T-shirts from like the '80s, and they would like say weird shit on it, and I would wear them, and they were tight on me. And at that time, that was when people were like wearing like huge ass baggy shit, like early 2000s, and they'd be like, look at this dude's T-shirt. He got this fucking, you can see his heartbeat and like that kind of thing. But I was like, I don't look like anybody else, So I just like unique things, man. I think it's like the artist in me. Like I just like unique stuff, and I think vintage stuff and like thrifting is how you get stuff that like nobody can go buy that thing too and like wear it, So it's either like thrifted, vintage, or like some guy on Instagram that makes like a one of one thing. Like that's the type of shit I like to wear.
Dude, Instagram has some good shit. And then speaking of which, really quick, I would love for you to like to share, that was a hard pivot, but kind of like a verse that you could, a cappella. Do you have anything prepared that you'd be down to kind of spit?
Sure. I have a verse that's from a compilation project that I was on with Sunday, actually. I think Euphonic was on it too.
Hell yeah. I gotta check that out.
It was like I got put on the second track on that, which is pretty dope. And the song was called
We'll link it too.
Show Me. I think it's called Show Me because he changed the name of it in the middle. But
yeah.
Anyways, I said, I've been eating these fake rappers so long they thinking I'm vegan. It's beyond beef when I see imposters step in my league. Gave me the bubble guts. Turn these MCs into diarrhea. And I'm sorry, D, I know you was asking we keep it clean, but I'm the king of jumping in dumpsters and finding Mona Lisas. But the problem's when you can't pull the garbage out of the people, leaving them in their pride's quicksand because they let their ego trip them, knowing that if I gave them my hand, they gonna pull me in there with them. Never committed to anything, I wasn't finna finish with a win. Pushing a pen and you push a narrative. Laryngitis from the sucking you did. Money illiterate, you wouldn't get it. Too busy investing in what was convenient. I was too lenient keeping these crabs around. I'm out when the bucket got heated. Eluding success with excuses is stupid to me. You losing because it's easy and complaining is royalty free. No payments, no danger, no awkward conversations, no pacing around late nights with location scouts to make arrangements. You boring with your corn. The people want a lotte. So what you mad at me for? The wolf ain't no coyote. A hunter and a scavenger are two different animals because one of them goes after his and the other one gets his scraps. So which is you?
Woo! Yo, fucking. First off, dude, the Mona Lisa dumpster one is like, that's so fucking ill. Holy shit. I love when you're saying something, but you're like, you're not saying it so like, that's so nuanced. You know what I mean? Also, the elote and corn one made me laugh. That's fucking great. Dude, no, the flow is fucking fire, man. That's like some heavy lyricism, like really top tier, like really great stuff. I'm excited to listen back to that on the pod. And then like, before we kind of end it, I would love for you to tell everyone, like, so like, what do you have like kind of planned for this year and what can we look forward to?
Man, this is like, people always ask me like, where can I find your music? And I was like, on my Instagram, because I don't have shit out yet. But I have like a little EP that I'm gonna drop. I'm actually on, I think the 5th. We're shooting a music video off for one of those songs because I don't want to half-ass it and just like throw it out there. So I made it actually on my birthday last year, and so it's called the Birthday EP.
When's your birthday?
May 12th.
Okay, for sure.
So like my friend and my business partner got me a 8-hour studio session like overnight for my birthday. So like I recorded like 4 songs. So I'm just gonna put them out as an EP and then put this music video out. And then I want to start just like putting tracks together to do like a real project. And it's gonna be a new experience for me. I never like really done it by myself before. So I'm hoping to like doing this networking and meeting people kind of will help me do that. And then I'm gonna do this with you. I'm just going to be dropping like videos and stuff and just getting out there. And then hopefully I can start doing some shows. Mars told me like, make some music, bro, so I can put you on some shows. So yeah, man, like that's kind of where I'm trying to, this year I want to be like the fucking takeoff and then see where it goes, you know?
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, I'm really excited to not only be a part of the process, but see the full project, man. You know, I'm just like listening from the song that we have together, and then also right now I'm a big fan. So yeah, it was great talking with you, man. And
sure, man.
we're gonna put his links in the YouTube. Just want to say a big shout out to Tony, and this was a fantastic conversation, and I just can't wait for an amazing year that he's gonna have, and also make sure that he can catch us when we put him on one of our Vibe Call West shows in Hermosa Beach.
Hell
so yeah, definitely, man. So Vibe Call West episode 5 done.
Okay then,
dude, great job, man.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Shout out lyricist.
So side I'm pure ain't Joe. Flow I be Jehovah's tone. Spirit shines like a new halo. Lyric wise I body this post. I murder the beat beneath moxie. I'm certain I'm said to be cocky, but the author like me with evidence these believe can never be proxied. There's an audio charisma. No clever had a face, and if grins had the power for depression to be erased. Your mirror held a man that you were proud of every day. Would eye contact with him make you able to create? Real life type joy with work. Good times when sober first. Shit swifter things can curse. Hopefully if them bees burn. Life gives, takes, and let's breathe. Find within the space and let be any petty grudge. Your source of shame, cause fortune change for positive peeps. Grandview.
I was quote-unquote gimmicky till they started to mimic me. I'm flattered. Now the mechanics retinkering my delivery. Nanoteching, this ain't no accident, shit is different now. Level the competition to level it up. You get it now? I'm about to pivot though. Try not to hit the wall, cause I'm cutting these corners tighter than cars running on ethanol. and it's race day. Call me Black Adam, you Jets is Mayday. Generic motherfuckers, I'm gourmet. You go to Safeway. I've been afraid of dying, so I've been moving like a hummingbird. Ain't got time for lying, what's the word? Everything I spit is facts. That's Google Oogies goofy, the truth being told from off the roof. And we two big birds off the same feather, flocking, dropping shit off the loose leaf. Hot flow, got the mic on watts. I'll swish your house with my wave rock. That's a lot of bricks falling off the dock, and I'm Namor, Submariner, too drippy. This a Grandview, but I'm tipsy, and I ain't gonna remember shit tomorrow. That's a bad first impression, Lord. Please forgive me. Wait, heavy is the head that's holding the crown. I bet on myself cause I'm betting 1,000. I got it a base B, I've been around. Grand slamming bangers into the crowd. Throwing the piece up. Y'all like that? I'm trying to see something. Cause normally I only be holding up middle fingers and looking for beef, son. Don't roast me. Let me cook first. A good verse ain't shit if the hook's worse. That's 2 shirts I done sweated through. Trying to do my best to get the best of you. My foot hurts. Kick too much ass. Now I'm 2 chains in a wheelchair. Black giant obstructing views. And if I sit down, I'm still there. The wolf. Okay then. Grandview. Thanks for having me, my friend. This is a hell of a way to start off 2023.
Shout out Young Swiss.
My name is Tony Shane, by the way. And I just want to give a shout out to the cameraman. Hi, Sunday, please.
Get us over to that voice.